Recording is on.
All right, sounds good. Good to see everyone. So Andrew, Pam, we see you guys. We'll call the meeting to order here right at 8 o'clock, and then just hopping into last month's minutes. Anybody want to go ahead and motion to approve the minutes? Is your motion? All right, a second.
I'll second. I was here last week or last month, right? Okay.
I was like, I don't think I was. So yeah. Yes. All right. Well, all in favor to approve the minutes then.
Aye.
All right. Minutes are approved. So cool. No visitors today, and then most of what we have is old business stuff, but a lot of old business, which is good. So the work in Webster job board update.
Yeah, if I can
Yes.
we take A and D together?
Yeah.
If that works for the group
Fine
here.
with it. Yeah.
So work in Webster Groves. I'm sorry, let me get for Zoom, all of you, I'll just share up on the screen. Workinwebstergroves.com is active. Mike, we have a press release with the mayor, Pam, and you, a quote. So Jenny Starkey will be sharing it with you.
That's fine.
That'll plan to hit next week. We did receive some of your feedback. So again, the page is active. We have no jobs posted up right there. We haven't put the city ones on yet, but we'll be emailing along with the press release out to all the businesses in town, inviting them to use the service, and we'll continue to do that. We'll also schedule probably a postcard out to the business licenses in mid-September as well. So following up on those emails. We did update the job form to include volunteers, part-time work, internships, all the various different levels of opportunity. Webster U has been notified about this as well. So we hope to have amplification of all that in their student news and such like that. So the job board is all set and ready. So it's really a matter of marketing now. If you go to workinwebstergroves.com, it's going to just take you right to the city website. So as of right now, all this has cost the city to be able to do this is staff time, which is, certainly something we should be doing to support the business community. So the reason I asked about and wanted to bring up the business development fund in that conversation is to try to get a ballpark out of that 100,000 of what folks are thinking, is the marketing budget for this type of push. We can easily spend all 100,000 marketing this. I mean, and I'm not saying we're going to want to do that, but it's trying to get a sense of from you all, do you want to put half of it into this initiative? Is it you can always ask the council for more, but you have $100,000 that they're looking for recommendations on. Is it a quarter? Is it 10%? And so we do believe, as we talk about marketing this, it's going to need more than just, this is more than just the Webster Kirkwood Times ads, right? I mean, this is saturation in other areas outside of Webster as well. Probably a lot of digital advertising, and quite likely maybe even some radio, potentially a billboard or two. So, I mean, those are parts of the mix that we're thinking of. So wanted to get a sense from you as we sort of try to put together that plan to bring to you that we ultimately recommend to the council on, what allocation out of that 100,000.
I think we need to wait and see how many jobs go up on this. I mean, we'll certainly use it, for designers and Webster U. There's a great connection there for us. But if there's only 3 jobs up here, if the businesses aren't using it, then there's no money that should be spent on advertising it.
Yeah, is in the press release. Can we say something that we do want to really encourage them to use it, because we're trying to figure out how much we want to spend on advertising, and just be blunt and be upfront. I mean, if they don't see value in it, then I agree. We can push that money somewhere.
I mean, there's definitely value in it, but whether they take the time to listen and realize what it is, I don't know.
Yeah, and I would see this benefiting from like a really targeted advertising campaign, like not a billboard, but like, maybe posters on Metro Bus or something that's coming to Webster, because if it's going to be working in Webster Groves, I mean, that's going to be Webster University, the high school kids, what does it cost?
Let me check that. Most of our restaurants hire folks who drive in from
outside.
So the idea of Metro Transit coming in for work is a relatively small population of our employees, because we only have one route The entire city is just the route that comes down Lockwood. So I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying,
No, I see. That's
yeah.
like a different way to think about it.
And
so I don't disagree with you about the targeting aspect. I mentioned the billboard in terms of, those are potential, right? And we can, let me say from staff's perspective, we agree, right? Like, we don't
Yeah.
want to just throw money into the wind,
mhm,
but we also realized there was urgency and, we're a couple months already into the fiscal year, right? If it takes us 6 more months to plan it out, we're really
Yeah.
looking at next year in 23 that we're really seeing effect, which is fine.
mhm.
Just making sure we match your urgency on what you want. So,
Well, and maybe that's your first point, to be
Right.
a really big digital push too,
Mhm.
because that's easy to target.
Mhm.
But I agree too, if there's no jobs up there. there's
Yeah,
not
you
much
gotta
to
have jobs up there,
Yeah.
because if we get people to go to it one time and
Yeah.
there's really no jobs up there,
right.
and that's just a waste of money.
Yeah, they'll never come back and.
Right, they'll never
yeah,
come back.
that'll-
Yeah.
That'll be the end of that, yeah.
So then are you saying, because I want to get this right,
Mhm.
the push initially and possibly marketing should be to the businesses?
I think so,
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Because just a letter or a postcard isn't going to be enough.
right. If there's any money spent, it's gotta be the businesses to
Gotcha.
get them.
I just want to make sure I interpret
Mhm.
what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Mhm.
I'll take this to the chamber. We meet on the second Thursday, the board meets on the second Thursday of the month.
Okay.
So I talked
Really?
a little bit about it at our last meeting. I said this was coming, it would follow. So I'm sure that we have ways to communicate.
Yeah, and to your point, really pushing the idea that if you use this, there could be money behind it, like, this is free marketing for your jobs.
Mhm. Yeah, and hopefully, if we can get a big push to the businesses these next few weeks, the chamber meeting here in a couple of weeks, and then the press release and reaching out to the businesses. Then I think we can circle back next meeting, see what it looks like, and then we should have a good idea of what makes sense to spend.
We do have parking permits will be renewing in October. So essentially, my point is business type of mailings, we will probably put a stuffer in
I see.
with those types of things. So, adding into that mix. So,
Okay.
Mike, we might
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
consider kind of a timeline for this. Do we want to go for 3 months or 6 months of intense communication? Some could be free, some might. Or is this over, say, a year or two-year period to really get it established?
I would say, and everybody else chime in here, but as far as getting the businesses to use it and us seeing, what makes sense to target as far as the spend on it. I don't think any more than probably a couple months personally, but if you guys think we need more time to get it out to the businesses and see what the utilization looks like on the job board so we can see next steps. Let us know. Well, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that's realistic?
I don't think we know.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know how the businesses are gonna take anything. I mean, I don't get a lot of mails from Zoe's Apple. I don't
Mhm.
see it.
Yeah.
So I personally would just say we've just gotta wait and see.
Mhm.
And I think we need to let the businesses know that once we get jobs up here, is part of this mailer and other things. There'll be advertising behind it, because we also don't want the businesses to put jobs up there and then never get anybody to come there.
Agreed.
But we've got to have the jobs before we spend for the advertising.
Yeah.
So I don't think we put a time frame on it.
We just keep looking at it. I mean,
I think it's a monthly thing that we look at and see how many are up there, and
yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would definitely schedule a reevaluation in
Yeah.
3 months and see
Yeah.
where we are, but. And, if there's 100 jobs up there in 2 months, maybe we do it then.
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't take long we could keep it on the old business. It doesn't take a long time for us to pull it up and scroll the job board and see what's going on. I mean, I think most businesses have job openings right now. It's just a matter of getting them to know that this is here and take a little time to put a posting up.
And I probably know the answer to this, but there's no way for, if they're listing it on Indeed or their own website, for it to auto-populate on our website, so we don't have to do all.
not that we.
Okay, that's what
Yeah,
I figured.
they can literally in the form, I mean, the 30 seconds it would take to add, they can put the Indeed link right in the form.
Oh, okay.
Right, so I mean, but it is not posted in Indeed and it
Yeah,
just shows up
like
over here,
that too,
yeah. And we'd have some security issues pulling our government website into
Yeah.
API
Sure,
with Indeed.
Indeed would
So,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, so.
Tim, how do you usually post for job? I mean, do you just take an application if somebody comes in and wants to work for you, or do you, what do you guys do?
We use Indeed and those services, you know, but it's tough right now. I mean, it's tough. But I also think we finally have, last spring we had two, one's come back because she was overseas, but Webster U students. And for the design position at the store to come in and design whatever you're designing and then have it printed right there.
Mhm.
Those college kids are just perfect. And at Webster U, I mean, but we've never been able to get much out of Webster U. So, I mean, this excites me.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Is there a good way to target, you know, Webster University students to let them know that this job board's up there that we can do sooner than later? So I don't know.
Yeah, no, Jenny's talked with her connections there. Jenny
Yeah.
Starkey, our public affairs director, used to work at Webster. So she's talked and they're very excited and happy to be helpful. I mean, what that exactly means, right? I'm not expecting Webster
Sure.
to drop a bunch of money on this, but you know, the point is they've got channels and those types of things. So I mean, part of our mix could easily be the, you know, as well, the QR code flyers and that all around, you know, in campus. So I mean, there's all those job boards that are always.
Yeah, I was just saying, I imagine I haven't been on campus at Webster University in a long time, and it's been unfortunately a lot longer than it seems like it's been. since
You were at the
college,
business round
but-
table. It was November of last year.
That's okay, that's fair, that's fair. I was inside one of the buildings, got number, but yeah, I think when I got my degree there, I don't even think I have one class in Webster. I think I have one at the high school that I switched to online. So, but I know there's job boards all over the place, so we should be able to target that.
Certainly, we would use digital as well. with
Yeah.
that
Could
population.
people just looking for a nanny post on there
Yep.
too? Okay.
So I mean, I think it's we made it wide range in that regard. I think the one thing we would do is, you know, we obviously, this is meant for Webster, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, this is gonna be like a lot of the chamber, right? Like we have said, you know, so Shrewsbury pops in there and wants to, you know, post a job, Serve Pro, right over there.
Yeah.
And Serve, you know, I mean, they're not a Webster business. They're a contractor to us. We would not post their job open. Now that's, you know, they're neighbors. They're right there. So we can think about that, how broad we want to make it, but we started with sort of that limitation.
Well, Chamber takes in.
Rock Hill, Shrewsbury,
Yeah.
now potentially Brentwood, so.
Because the Brentwood
Right.
Chamber folded, so we have.
Exactly.
members.
So I'm just pointing out, you know, we've sort of marketed this, that's the point of the curation, right? Nothing illegal and, you know, are you in Webster? You know,
Yeah.
that's sort of the foundational principle. That doesn't mean we have to keep it that way, but we figure that's a safe place to start.
Oh, I
right?
think so.
I think it's a good place to
Yeah.
start, if we're gonna have advertising dollars behind
Right.
it that are,
Yeah.
you know, Webster's money,
You
basically.
can always ask the other folks to kick in.
Sure.
Feed the
Shrewsbury,
It's a good
Shrewsbury
point.
and Rock Hill will be an immediate no. I'll just tell you what that answer will be.
Oh, good deal. Well, yeah, I think that's great. And then I think we should just look at it next month as far as seeing how the utilization is and then go from there.
So what I'll do, so we don't have to just sort of fumble through, is I'll make up sort of a monthly dashboard. You know, in terms of postings, you know, any, you know, feedback we're getting, things like that, you know, outreach that's been done and such, so that you all can just have an easy report to look at.
I don't know that this is something that we want to do forever, but as far as maybe in the early side of it, jobs that post and then that disappear, is there any way that we could find, you know, follow up with those businesses and see
Sure.
if that was where they got those applicants from?
Absolutely.
If they,
Yeah,
if this helped
we
them?
should build in certain satisfaction survey into that. We easily can do that.
Okay.
So they put a form in that auto populates the data they gave us. So, you know, did Story 7 find or not Story 7, Joey's had to find the designer, you know, we can reach out and, you know, we saw you posted. How was, we
Yeah.
can generate a survey or just simply how'd it work, you know, a phone call. So
I think that'd be good. I mean, I think if people are getting getting applicants from it and that's helping them fill spots, I think that'll help more people. You know, throw job postings on there. So, cool. Guys have anything else on the work in Webster? All right. Eric, you said you wanted the
Well,
next
so-
recommendation stuff?
So D, I don't know if there's any other, I mean, part of this conversation, you know, we talked about working Webster Groves.
Mhm.
.com as a potential piece to fund out of that $100,000. I think the point of this item is to continually have that conversation, like, is there other are there other projects that we're looking at. I don't know, other than, obviously, we're gonna talk about business bingo, but the shop local
Mhm.
stuff, which we have a minor report on. I don't think I think Tammy was
Tammy.
doing the bulk of that, but I don't know that we're primed to say, move this direction, for the other half or,
Mhm.
or, another step yet, but I want to leave that to the members, so.
Does everyone think there? I mean,
I'm just thinking a little bit ahead of where I should be thinking.
you're okay.
But if the other cities around us see this, I haven't seen it on like Kirkland's website or any other. So we're pioneering something right here that they might want to join, and we could spread and share.
Right. Yep.
So that's a possibility in the future.
Absolutely.
I think so too. Pam, Andrew, you guys have anything? Good. All right. Shop local.
So
Can't tell.
Tammy was
Just
working to
Tammy's
connect
thing.
with some folks about shop local. A couple things I wanted to bring up. I did reach out to STL Made and what was it? Shop 314. I can never remember the hashtag. So,
We
but
look for together.
thank you, 3 and 4 together. Too many hashtags in the last couple of weeks. They have both been very responsive and helpful, and I wondered if we don't maybe next month look at just having, if they want to come in, really just have a conversation about shop local and what their efforts are, and
Mhm.
have them be present at the meeting rather than just trading emails and phone calls and trying to regurgitate that information. So before I committed to that, I wanted to check with you all. And then obviously I'll circle with Tammy and see what intel she has gotten, if we add to that, so.
I think that would be good.
Sure.
You all agree? Yeah.
And then if we can on this point, Tim, I don't know if you wanted to bring up, but we heard a great suggestion at Old Webster yesterday from, not yesterday, Tuesday. Stacy from Paisley. So Old Webster's talked about a kiosk, which is fine. I mean, they've been looking and we were,
For 5 years.
yes. So, I feel bad because I feel like I've been diligent, but negligent.
Forever.
So.
Stacy's wanted this so bad for so long.
So kiosking is certainly, there are wayfinding and kiosk information that help retail spaces in a great way. They do present their challenges, right? Because sooner or later, somebody's got to curate that and take stuff down, and whose job is that? But she had a great idea about essentially if we made window clings that businesses can put in their front, that is a QR code that literally takes folks to a business map, of whether it be in a district or across the whole city. Now, certainly, if we're going to go to that, I think that the bigger scale is across the whole city, right? Like I walk out of Paisley, I can scan a little QR. Where is Maypop?
Mhm.
Google Map and just right there. Those are relatively simple types of things to put together, a QR code on a window cling and such, and then offer it to businesses to put into shop windows and such. It is a great idea. She wanted it to be brought to BDC for some conversation, because I think even she was thinking it's bigger than just Old Webster. Maybe I'm wrong. So,
I don't know if she was thinking that exactly, but I mean, there's nothing to stop us to have 2 different window clings, Webster and
Sure.
Old Webster. I mean, because you don't necessarily need a map of all of Webster Groves, because you walked out of Paisley to see where you can get a cup of coffee that's walking distance.
Mhm.
But maybe you do want to see all of Webster, and so you could have 2 on each.
Well, and we can also, the beauty of a window of a QR code, like if you put them all in Old Webster, the point is the business map opens up right around Old Webster.
Yeah.
But it's the same
Maybe
map,
even move
the same
over,
map, right? And
yeah.
then so Crossroads, their window clings opens up around the Crossroads
Mhm.
district,
Right.
but it's all the same map where
And
you
then
just
could expand it.
Yeah.
out.
exactly. So you essentially have, I don't know, 4 or 5 different window clings, but they're
All pointing to the same thing.
all pointing to the
Yeah.
same thing, and it just where they sort of zoom and start. So I completely understand and agree with what you're saying. It was a good idea in the way that, for me, I understand maps and wayfinding in a great way, but I'm a Google guy, right? Like
Sure.
I just use Google. So I mean, that's what I do. I don't even use our business map. I mean, when I'm on the city website, so. So I wanted to bring it up because it did come up, and it's another thing that could help shop local. We can certainly look into it if that's something the BDC wants us to do, or.
I mean, what kind of spend do you think that would be? It just, I mean, I know that the map is pretty much there. It's just a matter
Yeah,
of
the business directory is all there. and it's-
developing QR codes to go to a zoomed in spot. and
Yes, so
it can't be that
the
expensive,
GIS
right?
map is not hard. It's really the cost of the claim, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know what they run to print those things. I mean, I'm not anticipating a
Very
big thing. It's,
expensive.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
gonna be,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
mean,
No, it wouldn't cost much there. I think it's more, we're making sure if it's a Webster Groves map, that it's updated on a regular basis.
Mhm.
yeah,
I mean, that's gonna be your cost on that is internally to make sure that we keep it fresh and they don't walk somewhere that the business isn't there anymore.
who's updating GIS information?
Well,
now?
that all comes out of business directory. So that's, I mean, that all depends on the business license, right? So, and the historic nature is when a business closes, even though we ask, there's no compulsion to, but when you close, you're asked to file a closing statement with us, so we take you off of that world. But most businesses don't. I mean, we usually find out about a closed business about a year and a half later when DOR says this business has, closed their sales tax account. So that's an issue, right? I mean, that's the fundamental thing that pops up. So that will take a different way for us to curate the directory and the map online. So. But even Google has that, right? How many businesses are there that say permanently closed, but it's still a listed entity, so.
Is there any way to get, like, for our GIS data to have input from people, just like if it was a Google or Yelp or something like that,
I
that
think we
somebody
can-
could put in
yeah.
permanently closed and then that would.
I can look at that. I can look at that and see, so, yeah.
Yeah, instead of just relying on business.
Well, and there is a question. I mean, ultimately, we're taught, I mentioned that we can go right to our business directory and such. Do you want that? I mean, Google is a far more dynamic mapping system, right? I mean, we don't have to go to the city resource with that QR code. I'm not saying that that's my preference in a way, because I'd like the city to be that dynamic, but the reality is we don't have enough people and enough data engineers to be able to, keep that almost real time humming.
Mhm.
So things to think on, I think, but I mean, it's certainly an easy opportunity. It's an easy opportunity in that it doesn't take a lot to make the clings happen.
Yeah, I think it would be fairly easy to make those and then to hopefully get a little push out of that. I think that's something that people would use.
I think you'd want to go to the Webster Groves map though.
What's your GIS? Yeah,
I think that's what we're doing here is Webster Groves. So I mean, to take it where we're going outside of Webster Groves, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, and the stuff people would be looking for is pretty visible, basic stuff, they're not necessarily gonna be looking for an accountant while they're at Paisley. They're gonna look for Clover and the Bee or something.
Sure.
so.
I don't know. After I buy something nice, I might need to go to the accountant. Might need to find Andrew and see if he can get me out of whatever trouble I just got myself into, so. I like a lawyer who gives me a thumbs up on that. So
that's good.
I was just thumbs up on the comedy. I don't think I can help you, sir.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a good place to start.
Okay.
Do you want to follow up on?
Yeah, no,
on some of
we'll-
those questions? that
We'll
we
follow
come
up
back to?
so next month we'll bring you, sort of some mock-ups and then also some of the challenges we may see and, things like that. So that shouldn't be hard.
Okay, so I'm gonna complicate this a little bit, okay, your employees, if I went into Zoe Daddick and I was like, hey, where's a good place for lunch? Or is there a little gift store? I could get a candle, would they be able to point me somewhere, or do you think they actually don't know?
Some would, someone.
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
good
that's
question.
what I-
Probably that was the
Cause it
answer I
would be
was thinking.
cute to be also ask me or whatever, but
I mean, we used to not take embroidery orders.
yeah,
And so, I mean, we would always send them down to embroider the
yeah,
occasion. I mean, a
I just wonder
direct
how-
competitor.
yeah.
Gosh, I mean. Our one Webster U student would probably know some things. But other designers there aren't from Webster and they
That's
haven't
what
been there
they're
that
too.
long.
Right,
So they, unless it's Sushi Station or San Jose.
That's what I was gonna say, like.
Okay.
Yeah,
right there.
Right. No, I mean, it's just like when I get a haircut. And it's Sports Clips there and, they, ask what do you do or, you got the day off because I'm always in shorts or whatever. And I'm like, no, I own the Mash by Zoe's Attic down there. Sometimes they know what it is. Sometimes
Yeah,
they
they
pretend
have
like they
no
know what it
idea.
is. And sometimes they do know what it is. So,
Sure.
but yeah, those workers, aren't necessarily from here. So they're not
Right.
walking around and.
Right, they come and do their job and leave. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's good to know.
Yep.
And that's extremely true of all the restaurants. I don't know how many times I've been at them and I hear the conversation next door and it's a table of women that, well, they ask the server, is there any boutiques by? And they're literally across the street from Leopard.
Sure.
And I'm constantly getting out my trade association thing and I talk to them, tell them it because 9 times out of 10,
Okay.
servers don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, if everybody had the clings and they knew that the clings were there, it'd be pretty easy for them to say,
Well,
hey,
they
there's
said
a,
something,
Yep.
yeah.
there's a QR code in the front when you leave and you can, find your boutique or
That would be big.
home furnishing store. I guess that would be the candles, right?
Yeah,
Furnishing store,
there's
maybe
candles everywhere.
general store.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several places.
We make candles.
There you go.
There's several places.
But yeah, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's a good idea.
So.
Yeah.
We will get some mock-ups and get some points put together on it and such, so.
Cool.
Probably just comes down to expense. I mean, great idea. Seems fun. I think it would be particularly good if it could get kind of branded and there could be like a symbol or something that really directs attention to it, at the point of the transaction. But if it's expensive, I think that would change the analysis. So we probably need that information.
Can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, the expense is the upkeep of it, probably more than the clings, the internal expense.
Yeah, the internal, I mean, yes, so I mean, the question with GIS and ours, like I said, our business directory changes once a year, really, right? New business licenses, any closures. But if we're trying to make the GIS map more dynamic, right, in terms of also businesses, it's up to Tim to tell us what Zoe's Attic does, right?
Mhm.
So, we get a lot of that with like, I want an architect, right? Well, that's, sometimes they want a designer, not an architect, but they're listed as an architect, right? So I mean, it's, we've been trying to stay out of the how to market your business and simply say, tell us what you do so we can, put it accurately in there. And so,
Yeah.
some of our residents get real frustrated with that. Like, we don't say what the business does. That's business's job. So sure.
It's
So then
definitely,
you're
if it
talking
is
about-
dynamic, as you say, that's a good word. If it is really fun and to use, which, I think it's gonna be hard to get there, frankly, but then it's branded, at the point of the transaction where there's like a symbol or Webster map and everybody kind of comes to understand what that is. I think I could easily see people enjoying it while they're waiting for
Sure.
their restaurant table or server to come but those are a lot of ifs.
Fran, what were you gonna say?
Wouldn't there be a marketing cost as well to let the businesses know about the QR code, et cetera?
Yeah, so I
Probably a
mean,
little bit.
we'd have to provide the cling and there'd be some cost put into, asking businesses to take it up, I don't.
I mean, make the claims and nobody uses them.
Yeah. We gotta make sure that they know that it's there and what it's for and how it'll help them and help everybody else.
Could send that with their parking renewals, remind them of,
There you go.
send us money, here's some free stuff, so.
Cool. Well, should we move on to the business bingo update? I talked to CC a little, Pam, I'll have you do the update, but just as a heads up, the gazebo, I know was her backup plan for the day, and the gazebo is booked that day. So that is not an option. So hopefully a restaurant can be plan A.
Okay.
So that means it can't be given out at the gazebo either.
Correct. It's booked all day. Yeah.
That's okay, we can deal with that. Well, I think we're off to a pretty good start, thanks to Cece and Jenny. The letters went out to 37 businesses on Monday, and we already have 8 back saying, yes, I want to be part of it. It's Kind Soap, Paisley, Webster Groves Dry Goods, Amy's Cake Pops, and Blue Dahlia Designs embroider the occasion, Gus's Place, and the initial design. So we were kind of happy to see that right away. We had, along with the letter, Cece sent out, can you see this? This is an example of the ads that's going to run in the Webster Kirkwood Times. We were talking about either 2 or 3 weeks worth during September. I think we're going to go with 3 placements, plus a little bit of drive time radio and the usual Facebook stuff. I mean, we're still kind of working on this whole plan along with Jenny. We were, did I hear somebody say something?
Nope, you're good.
We were, hadn't decided yet where to do the prize distribution party. We were thinking about Llewellyn's, and then we were thinking about the gazebo. So more than likely, I think CC has contacted Llewellyn's, and we'll probably deal with that. Maybe that's the spot to distribute it to. I don't know. We'll wait till she gets back and try to get organized on that. So yeah, I think things so far are going along fine.
Good deal.
So if, just a quick heads up, Pam and such, if you guys do need a backup spot, a public space, Fran certainly welcome to offer up suggestions, but we call it Concrete Park, the little, right as on the entry off of Lockwood onto the parking ramp at the Novus building, there's that concrete space with the benches and the bike rack there. It's I know we use it during Oktoberfest, so it's in Old Webster, which is fine, but it's got walking. Point is, there's parking right there. People are walking, so if they're in that part of town, they can easily pick up there. So,
Okay.
is there anything else, Fran, that pops to mind? I don't think of anything really easy in the districts to.
No, just the best one.
Yeah.
If you don't have a gazebo park.
Yeah, I think that probably is.
Okay. All right.
Well, good deal. No, it's coming along great. Thanks, Pam. So new business, we don't have anything today.
No new business.
All right. Business district updates.
Turn to Tim first.
All right.
That damn Webster Trade Association just kept asking for money all day. That's pretty much what we've been doing. I don't know what they're doing down there. I mean, they're just spending money and they're just asking us to reinforce it.
I did not say that. I want the record to show City Hall did not say that.
I do a little laughing emoji.
Yes.
It's only funny because I'm president of it.
I know, right? I know.
I mean, really, that was a lot of what we talked about.
Yep.
I mean, the normal lighting of the buildings and talking about trying to get the utilities to get rid of their spray paint on our sidewalks and these cores that they've taken. If you've seen them on the sidewalks, these 6-8 inch cores that they've taken and filled in, and what kind of time frame for them to refill them and make them nice again. But Eric didn't give us a lot of good news on that.
What are they using that
There's
for?
two different
Is it
companies.
telecom there?
Two different companies putting fiber through Old Webster. So.
But as he said, they could just say the job's still going on and have it go out forever.
Yeah.
So. Anything
I
else?
think you all saw how long it took Missouri American Water to simply repave the road here on Elm, right? I mean,
Sure.
that started when I started with the city, and it's just got done about a month ago. So,
Yeah.
so,
I mean, those fiber guys are private contractors though.
Yeah, so,
So,
yeah.
I mean, at least they're not, I mean, they work for the public utilities, right? But
they do, and some of them aren't public utilities other than they're publicly regulated, but there's some preemption that's happened to local government. So there's things where they've gone to the state, which is their regulator, and essentially gotten the ability to operate in a right of way, sometimes without much oversight that we can put on. So now there are,
whole permit.
well, they may have to pull a permit, but there may be limits on what we can do differently than if Tim just says, I need to open my sidewalk up to fix my sewer lateral right in front of my building. So So we're looking into all that, because we agree, right? I mean, we don't want this, we want, you all spend money, we spend money on keeping things looking good around town and
Yeah.
such, but it's, there are some limits that pop in there.
I insure a couple of those guys and so I know their businesses pretty well,
Mhm.
and some of them are a lot better than others as far as getting it done quick and closing up,
Right.
the holes, that way they can be done with it too.
Right.
But some of them,
A couple of the
some of them.
here in Old Webster, maybe both companies, but one company certainly did drill through a foundation of a building.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just, we've got multiple issues we're dealing with on that. one.
That'll
So-
happen sometimes
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
So-
it's,
So I just wanted to add to that, one of the other conversations that came up, and this is coming up just in general around the city, is up on Pacific on the north side of Old Webster. Lots of folks like, well, it's a very industrial area. The city does not do much maintenance up there. And a lot of folks have gotten a lot of emails like, why aren't you doing more maintenance? First of all, I just want for everyone to know, Union Pacific owns one side of that street. That's a right of way. So that's pretty much, we don't touch it because we end up being liable to the railroad for a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
But this has brought up a case in point that a lot of folks are wondering, like, why do I as a business have to maintain this, make things pretty out front? Isn't that a business district responsibility or a city responsibility? And the reality is, Tim's sidewalk, Paisley, Old Orchard, doesn't matter. It's a business owner's responsibility to maintain and to beautify. The districts provide flowers and we do a snow removal pass through areas, but it is property owners and so when you get in that type of area down there, we have inspectors going through and there's vegetation issues that businesses are responsible to handle. And so a lot of businesses don't, they just let it go, and that's in a very industrial area.
Mhm.
But as folks want to make that area work better, they're asking why the city's not doing this. I think under the notion that the city does all this on Lockwood. The city puts flowers out, yes, but it's not, we fix the sidewalk when it's a sidewalk issue, but it's ultimately, business owner's job to make sure the sidewalk's clear and things like that. So I just wanted to give you that point as I'm
Mhm.
sure you're going to hear somebody squawking about it and might get some of those emails at some point. So.
Okay. Well, what about Old Orchard or Crossroads updates?
Crossroads had a great pickleball tournament, Digital Strike. I think it was a massive turnout.
Especially for our first
Cool.
time
Yeah.
event
And
in a district that never has events.
Sure.
we received 0 complaints. So,
Nice.
no one's complained about having Gore shut down for that big section. So we're really happy about that. Old Orchard got the gazebo series underway and is planning for their tree lighting, and they'll have carolers and such. So we'll have a nice little town event there for that. So, and the gazebo apples are all painted. So they have very bright red.
And in time for the series to start.
Perfect. Is Digital Strike planning on doing that annually now? mean,
I
is it-
think their plan is annually. They
were calling it first annual.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. See how it went, but like
Yeah.
you guys said, it went very well. So
Jackson,
really nice.
he's already talking to all the people that live on that spot.
Yeah. I would think most of them would be on board with it, but yeah. We'll see.
You always,
I know.
when you lose a Saturday of getting in and out of your house, right? So,
Yeah, it's easy for me to say, but it's not for my house.
I don't live there, so yeah, right.
The Olive and Oak Foundation storefront has a big check from it.
Yeah.
It looks like they made like 10 grand or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
It was like decent, yeah.
Pickleball is there's a serious conversation at the city. Please, if you're a tennis player, don't come at me, or a gym user, but should we change some of the courts into pickleball? It's becoming a dominant desire and need, right? As all sports do, right? You sort of go through these 10-year cycles of this sport becomes the trend and such. So-
Can't they be for both? Can't you just stripe them for pickleball?
Oh,
and still do tennis as well?
you absolutely can, right?
Yeah.
But I think it becomes a matter of usage, right?
Yeah.
There are tennis programs that demand certain times and hours, and pickleball is demanding the same times and hours. So
Yeah.
we end up in those consternation moments.
It is a big, people love it. I haven't ever played it, but yeah,
According to the company that they hired to run the tournament,
uh-huh.
they said that this was the biggest pickleball tournament in the state that actually was in the streets and not at a court.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
That was cool.
Neat. Well, those are good business district updates. Any city updates?
Can I jump in real quick, just go
Yes.
backwards for a second?
Yeah.
Pam sent out, you guys sent out a letter. I never got a letter. Like I said, I don't get the mail much from Zoe Zedek. Would you guys consider emailing that stuff as well too to all the businesses? For the bingo?
Sure.
I mean, if you send an email, I will get it, but I didn't respond to it because I never saw anything.
Okay, okay. We'll make sure. I'll talk with Cece. We had this discussion about how far do we go in terms of inviting people, and what kind of governs some of the metrics about it, if you want, is that we would only have 25 on the bingo card out of the whole thing. So it turned out to be sort of a first come, first serve, and put the list together according to that. We, you know, as I said, we sent to about 37 people. But let me talk to her about that, and no problem emailing for you or anyone else who's interested.
Well, I'm just thinking there's other people in the same situation that I am.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking you were getting at.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't saying specifically just to me. I'm saying in general, if you're taking the time to select the businesses and mail things, to email them, there's no cost there as well.
Okay.
So you're hitting them in two ways. Okay,
Sure.
that's all. Sorry.
Good idea.
City update, just briefly, I'll, why can't I find this? Where are you at here? Back to share screen. We have our business license report for July is out, and so it's on the screen in front of you. We do have some new openings, and Old Webster Dry Goods has opened. New owner down at Fuzzy's, and some other openings, and then a closure. As you can see, you know, D&D Distributors, thank you very much for them telling us right away that they closed, but oftentimes this monthly report doesn't have that. So just wanted to give you that update. That's always on our website, so you can always see the changes in the business licenses as they're coming in and out. The other thing I wanted to talk about just real quick, you see the H here. I mentioned this to you all. The governor did sign that bill. So home-based businesses are no longer licensable at as of 3 days from now, the 28th of August.
Yeah.
So those that have signed up to this date will be licensed, and any that come in after that, we will simply send back their application and such and let them know that they are not. We'll brief the council on that. That will be a bit of a revenue hit. I don't think the districts will see much. There's really no home-based business in the 3 business districts in terms of their extra license. They may have a little bit, but it will take, our estimate right now is probably about $20,000 off the business licenses. So for the city revenue. So just wanted to bring you that update and let you know where that is. Other city news, the Charter Review Advisory Board will, the final interviews for that are this coming the 6th of September with the council, and I think over 30 people applied. I know Tammy from this group did, to make sure that there was a business owner, and I believe one business owner from the Crossroads area applied. So that's business will have, I don't want to say will be represented, that's council's decision, but there are nominees, you know, that sort of have put in that interest from a business owner's perspective.
There were 30 applicants for that?
30
That's
applicants
great.
for the 9 spots.
Yeah.
So that is good. And I just have to tell you, it was amazing to see some of our residents, you know, just the wide diversity of thought, opinion, age, orientation, gender, just, it was all over. So that's really good. And I'm just trying to think. I think that's it. We're all preparing for fall, and school has started, and remind everyone to slow down on the streets, because we're anticipating that's our next big series of complaints that'll come in. So.
There was just my wife dropped my son off at the high school, and at Bompart and Lockwood, there was a big accident.
Oh, really?
She just missed it. Yeah. She has a picture of it.
Yeah, ideal.
The before I forget, doesn't affect BDC, but there are a couple events. School districts got a dance on Selma Friday night, and Piano Fest is this weekend.
That's right.
Right here at the
Yeah.
Mason Temple. So the Arts Foundation is doing a bunch of with the Arts Commission, their work on events. So
Good deal. Cool. Well, yeah, good updates there. So our next meeting is September. Obviously, that'll be coming up close with business bingo too. You know, week and a half after that.
Before
November,
that.
after that, right? Or meeting then.
Yeah,
We're
there's
saying
bingo's
Yeah.
after the meeting, sorry.
Yep,
Yeah.
no, you're good.
The November and December, I just wanted to put on to make sure what we have. So we had moved your November meeting would have been on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Obviously won't work, so we moved it to the 10th
Yep.
of November. December is the 22nd, 2 days before Christmas. Most of the commissions are taking December off. I wanted to see if you wanted to move it or if you want to. I don't think you should have it on the 22nd.
I know that's what we've done in the past is take December off because it is a busy month for, you know, for you guys that have businesses. And then it's just a crazy month in general, but is everybody okay with that?
I don't think there's anything pressing that's gonna happen
Yeah.
in December.
I agree. I mean, November's an important one with, you know, with the holiday spending and stuff like that, but yeah, let's take December off.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just briefly, next meeting, we will have the draft schedule for 23. And so I always list every month, right? So you'll see the memo from me. Feel free to say we don't want to meet that month like December. So that's, you know, we just put them on, so we hold the dates. So
Yep.
We'll go through that to sort of firm up your schedule for next year.
Okay. Good deal. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add? Any chamber updates or anything that we'd like to talk about before we adjourn? All right, good deal. Well, everybody have a great day and we'll go ahead and adjourn.
See y'all. Thank you.